Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Digital Success Hot Seat. As you know, these live streams are all about showing entrepreneurs that have joined us in the digital space so that they can share their journeys. Because one of the things that I've found that drives me absolutely nuts, especially since COVID lockdown, is the amount of gurus out there that are jumping online and talking about how you can make 7 figures, in 3 months, which is just, it doesn't happen. So the whole purpose of this is to showcase entrepreneurs that are getting into the online space, that are making things happen. And today I'm really excited to introduce Livia York. Now, Livia is actually started her journey after she decided she didn't want to retire. And she is a published author, she's a poetess, a speaker, and also an entertainer. So welcome, Livia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. How are you, Leanne?
Good, thank you.
That's good.
All right. I seem to have a little bit of latency here with the audio. I don't know why.
Okay. Shall I bring the volume up or no?
Oh, no. It's just my audio is not quite syncing. I'm not too sure why. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us. So maybe tell everyone a little bit about yourself and,
Sure.
how you ended up here.
I don't suppose you really want me to tell you about my 78 years of life, do you? That would be way too much. But in actual fact, just so that we understand each other, my journey started when I was 11 months old, simply because in those days, it was 1943 when I was 11 months old, and during the war, World War II in Rome, a bomb dropped on the apartment where I was as a baby with the nanny.
Wow.
And cutting a long story short, once my mother picked me up from the rubble, she said, you were just laughing, giggling. You were just giggling in all that turmoil, that you went, well, the building was bombed. You were just giggling, and it was like the phoenix rising from the ashes. That
right.
was it. Okay. So through the years, I've been known as a phoenix because with all the things that have happened to me over the years, and I'm not saying that they only happened to me. I know that many other people, that we all have a story, right? We all have a story. So, but I found that over the years, I don't know whether it was psychology or what it is, but every time something happens to me, I tend to reinvent myself. And just like the phoenix rising, I always reinvent myself. And I'm now at 78 years old. I've done so much in my life, you have no idea. And I just feel like I'm only really 39 in my mind. I am not my age. So what I've done over the years, and as I said, I've done lots of things. I've been, well, first of all, I was a young mother at 16 through rape. I raised 2 children on my own. Once after I left my violent husband, I was nearly 12 years in domestic violence. So I reinvented myself on my own. Then, of course, 3 years later, I was lucky enough to find my soulmate, which is still with me after 48 years. But
doing amazing videos with you.
Yeah, yes, a lot of fun. And I've worked. I've always wanted to achieve. If I do something, I want to do it properly. And so I've been a mechanic through my life. I've been a promoter. I've done all sorts of things, and of course, as an entertainer. But my latest reinventing of myself was only 5 years ago, really, because I lost my daughter in 2012. And after I nursed her for over 3 years through cancer, unfortunately, cancer took her. But after she passed away, something happened to me, and believe it or not, my daughter is still with me. Okay, her spirit is still with me. She has guided me all these years. But I reinvented myself 5 years ago. became an author after being in insurance. I was a financial advisor for over 40 years with my husband. We used to run the business together. So I've gained a lot of experience as far as promotions and as far as dealing with people. And as you know, that's the secret, isn't it? It's how you deal with your people.
All about relationships.
Yes, that's where the success and the secret is. And so then I get to a point where, as I said, my daughter has passed away, but she will not leave me. And she started coming into my dreams and inspiring me to do things. So only 3 weeks after she passed. And I became an author through her. She insisted that one night she told me that I should buy myself a laptop and that she would guide me. And so I did that. By the way, after waking up from the dream screaming like crazy because Glenn thought I was losing my mind. He thought the trauma of losing my daughter was making me lose my mind. In actual fact, it was actually reproducing me, basically. I was reinventing myself. So she guided me over 11 months. Every night I would sit up with my laptop in front of me, and I must go back for a moment. I arrived in Australia when I was 15 years old. I did not go to school in Australia. I learned English simply listening to people, and most of all to the radio stations in Melbourne. In the days when, I'm talking about, I arrived in Australia in 1958. And in those days...
You don't have much of an accent. I mean, normally people that have come from another country, you still maintain a bit of an accent. You speak beautifully. Like
Yes, I was lucky that in those days, the radio announcers spoke the Queen's English.
Right.
Okay? So they really spoke the proper English. And so I was a young mother with a baby at home, and all I would do is listen to the radio. There was no TV in those days. If you watched TV, you had to go to the shop down the street. But anyway, as I said, I never went to school, never learned spelling, never learned typing, nothing like that. But when my daughter started guiding me into writing the book, I use this finger to type. One finger, one letter at the time, believe it or not. And I would sit up through the night, 6 to 8 hours every night, and just tap, 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 tap on the keyboard, not knowing what I was doing. It's a very long story, so I won't go into it. But what I'm saying is, I reinvent myself every time, and the success of life, as far as I'm concerned, is to be confident and enjoy what you're doing. I mean,
and even with this book that you've never written before, you're not in your home country, but you've won an award for it.
Yes, I did. I've got a copy here. Would you believe at the moment is the only copy that I've got left? I have to reorder. This is the book. Okay. As you can see, it's not a little book. Okay, not a little book.
All typed with one finger.
All typed. It's actually 141,500 words.
Wow.
Okay. All typed with one finger. It picked up the award, the Reader's Favorite 5 Stars Awards, within 6 months of publication.
That's fantastic.
And it's still going very well, simply because it's a family story. It talks about the lives and the tribulations of families. Yeah. My family was no different to any other. They've not set the world on fire. They haven't invented penicillin or anything like that. But it's a lovely family story that goes to, and it ends at my age of 27. So everything else after that, it's another story. But yes, so I market the book myself.
So tell us a little bit about that, because obviously the online space, you haven't grown up with this. This is something that's just happened around you. So how do you, at an age where most people have decided they're going to retire, they're going to take it easy, how do you market a book and get it in front of people to win an award?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it was self-published, okay, because no regular agent wanted to take it on. It was too long. They said it was too long. It's a family story. Who would want to read about your family? I was told. Okay.
Wow, that's a bit rude.
I proved them wrong in everything. It's not too long. Everybody wants to read about my family story. But it was published in a local publisher, in-house publishing. I hope you don't mind me naming it. And then the promotion, it's strictly up to me. What I would do, first of all, of course, I had to very quickly learn about social media, which I've done. Mind you, I bluff my way through it, I think, all the time. But I've made a lot of friends because I've posted a lot of things, little bits and pieces of the book as I went along. I have readers all over the world, and they order from me through my website. You will not find my book in any shops. You will find it on Facebook, Amazon, yes. And pretty soon I will have another venue where people will be able to get my book. But otherwise, they order directly from me, and then I post.
So social media is predominantly Facebook?
Yes. Yes. Look, I know that there's other platforms there, but one thing at a time for me. I mean, at my age, I do appreciate that, I should know more about it, but I didn't grow up with it. So I don't know much more than what I do now. And also, I believe in concentrate on one thing and do it properly. Okay?
Right.
I do it.
Yes.
No point in being a jack of all trades where, you're here and there and then nothing is done properly. I do believe that it is best if I stay with one platform. I find it very successful, and a lot of it, of course, it's word of mouth. But also what I do is there are times when I will, for instance, rent a space in a shopping center.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I sit myself there with my books and my display and everything. And people come by and they look at the book and they're interested. And then they say to me, oh my God, it's such a sad book. And they say, I don't know if I could read it. And I said, no, look, it's not a sad book. It's actually a very happy book. But if you don't want to buy the book because you think it's too sad, I'll tell you what. I always say, well, look, buy a packet of tissues from me, and then I will give you the book for free. So they buy the tissue. Look at the size of the tissues. And then they buy the book.
That's a brilliant idea. So
it's part of promotion.
Apart from typing with one finger, having to learn Facebook and get yourself out there, what are some of the challenges that you faced, like learning a new platform and learning how to promote yourself in a whole new medium?
Okay, promoting myself, no, never. I've never had any problems. Okay, that has never been my problem. I grew up promoting myself somehow or other. I don't know if you've seen my latest post where I actually talk about when I was a mechanic. If you haven't, you should be looking at it. But no, the challenges is really, yes, to get to know the system. That has always been my biggest problem because, as I said, I bluffed my way through it. I must say, I do have, I met a person, an IT person that is very, very good. So obviously, I always ask help from the experts. I'm no expert in something, so I always look for the experts in there. Oh, look, I have a motto that nothing is impossible. I've grown up with that. My mother has brought me up. I had a wonderful mother. She was beautiful. She was elegant. She spoke 5 languages. She had traveled the world before I was born. So she knew a lot. And then one day she decided to come to Australia for 2 years contract work, just for 2 years. But once she was here, she fell in love with the country, and that's why I've ended up in Australia. Okay,
right.
so yeah. But as I said, I've always been brought up to believe in myself, and that's possibly what has seen me through. Any challenges? No. I don't know, it sounds silly. I do make mistakes, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect, but I seem to manage everything that I do. I seem to get myself out of a situation, once again, asking the experts for help.
So one of the things that I have noticed, and that's the funny thing with social media, is, you're online and you get to know people and see people without really knowing them. But one thing that I have noticed with you and your husband is that you're really not afraid of standing out. You're not afraid of showing up.
No.
And you just, even when you turn up and do songs, you just present yourself each time. Well, and I think that's a big thing, is stepping over that fear and just showing up.
Yes. Oh my God, fear is the thing that kills people. It kills the human being. It will kill anything around you. I mean, look at what's happened now, and we won't go into that because I have my own thoughts on it, and I don't mean to influence anyone. But fear. I wish fear was, what's the word? Deleted. Okay, we need to delete fear. Because that is the thing that kills us. And I always encourage my friend. I have a friend, a Facebook friend, that it doesn't matter how much I encourage her. She always puts herself there. And that's the one thing that I always say to her, don't do that. You don't need to do that. If you can't talk to others, you need to talk to a professional. And she says, no, I can't do that. I can't talk to a professional. I can only talk to people like yourselves. And I said, fine, I'm here. I'll listen. That's not a problem. But it's fear. She is terrified of everything that goes on around her. So that's a big obstacle. We have to free ourselves of fear. And I always tell people, look, there's no such thing as retiring. If you retire, you die. Okay, that's it. They might as well put you in a box straight away if you're planning on retiring. But Glenn and I are still going. We still perform publicly. We do that. As I said, my new career, for instance, going from the writing, I then went on, and please remember, I need to remind you, my daughter is the one. I often say that I didn't write this book. I was only the instrument. My daughter has written that. But after that, she started, actually one night when she came in, she said, Mum, I've completed my mission. I won't be coming for a while. I was really terrified. Anyway, within about a month later, she started coming back into my dreams. And that's when she started encouraging me to write poetry. Okay. Now, let me tell you about my poetry. Look,
because that's gone worldwide, hasn't it?
Yes, I have people all over the world. I have programs in Belgium, in the United States. They broadcast my poems. And this is what I've done lately. This is my latest project, okay? I've completed a CD of only some of the poems. And the book will be produced again. But to tell you the beauty of this CD, oops, here it is. It's a collaboration. What I've done is I've met through Facebook, okay? I met a composer in Spain, all right? And then in New York, there is a gentleman by the name of Hank Buchanan. Now, what's been happening is that Salvador writes the music. Then he sends it to me and he says, Livia, put the words to it. I then write the poem to the music. So then I send the words and the music all through the internet, of course, to Hank in New York, and he narrates the poems. So this CD, which I would like to show you,
wow,
which will be called the Poetic Phoenix, because that's the name that I've adopted. It's a collaboration of 3 people that I've never met, and all they do is talk to each other on Messenger. Now, don't you think it's
fantastic?
Yeah, he's on Salvador Navarra. It's his name. Anyone can find him on Facebook, on the internet. Okay, and Hank Buchanan in the States, he has narrated about 30 poems for me. This CD, by the way, it's not just Hank's voice. It's a combination of Hank, myself, Glenn, and another friend of mine here on the Gold Coast. So we have poems, and the principle of this is that, there's a lot of people that have, they're not necessarily blind, but visually impaired, or blind people. They can't read, okay? They can't read a book, but they can listen to the poems. It's like listening to a CD of music. They can listen to poetry. Not everyone, and remember one thing, not everyone likes poetry. A lot of people think it's boring, okay? Until you hear it recited. Then it's a different thing altogether. So once again, the marketing and the success that I have in all these things is because I do it through Facebook, social media, right, whatever, and my friends refer me to other friends and so on. They're constantly looking at my page. They're constantly sharing my posts because they enjoy it. But this is what I wanted you to know, the beautiful situation of 3 people that I've never met and possibly never will get to meet. Right?
That is fantastic. And I think you've really touched on a point there about, like your friends following everything that's on your page.
Yes.
Australians are renowned stalkers. We love we'll watch what everyone else does. And you'll only comment when you see them in person. And we'll be, oh, yeah, I saw that on Facebook. You know, so I think that the fact that you show up and keep showing up and keep putting your things out there is incredible. But it's funny because you should say that, because just yesterday when I did the post about the time when I was a mechanic, which is, by the way, it's a beautiful story. If you haven't seen it, I can assure you should read it, because it's such a shame the way, the Holden car that closed down completely a few years ago, right? It's all about that, because there was that one year in my life that was just fantastic, the way I was associated with the Holden car, and also with a person here on the Gold Coast. Now, I am talking about 1972, long before you were born, probably. And I met a man from the Gold Coast. I had no idea what the Gold Coast was. I met him. I became one of the girls, the 4 girls in the group, to do a promotion for the Holden car. And, it was just so magic, so magic to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm still looking for some of the other girls that are here on the Gold Coast, but I've not had any success in that.
But sorry, I lost my lost my line. But yeah, ask me another question.
So, okay, so we've gone through the chat. What are three things that you're most proud of? I mean, you've won an award for your book. Your poetry has gone worldwide, and you're doing this incredible collaboration. And again, I don't mean to keep going on about age, but there are so many people. And to be honest, you remind me very much of my mother. She's one that grabs hold of technology and anything new that comes out and runs with it. Yes. And you remind me of, sort of having that kind of passion. And it's like I remember my grandmother saying that she stopped at 30. She wasn't getting any older than 30, and how you feel inside doesn't change. No. But the fact that you haven't let a number dictate what you can and can't do, and you've taken these incredible ideas and run with it, it's just amazing. So what would you consider to be your top wins?
Well, God, through my life or just the last 12 months? Yeah, look, this collaboration that I have now with these two gentlemen, and as I said, one, Salvador in Spain, is only about 38, okay, a young man, half my age, and the other one is close to my age, but such a man that he was an actor, a singer, all sorts of things, and a poet. He writes the most beautiful poems, So I feel that this is really my biggest achievement. As far as work is concerned, okay, I'm only talking about work. This is really something that I never, ever had expected that I would be doing, because I said I've done so many other things in my life and I've always been successful. Like, for instance, let me just go back a few years. For instance, I told you I was a financial advisor for over 40 years. Okay. I actually hold the record for being the first, having a client that was the very first claim in Australia for trauma insurance. Do you know what trauma insurance is?
Okay.
You know what that is? You know about life insurance?
Yeah.
And trauma insurance is in the event that someone was to suffer a cancer, a heart attack, stroke, anything like that. Okay. Now, that was in 1989. My client was the very, very first claim in Australia. The company even did a video with us and publicized it and trained their other advisors to copy what I was doing. Another thing that I've achieved, together with my husband, in 1985, we pulled away from insurance for about 5 years. And we launched, Glenn and I launched the karaoke in Australia. Now, you've heard of the karaoke, haven't you?
Wow, I certainly have.
We are the ones who launched the karaoke in Australia. Okay, so I'm very proud of many, many things that I've done, but also most of them have been in collaboration with Glenn, right? Yeah. We work together, always work together. And so in the last 12 months, yeah, this is the project that I wanted to put together this CD, and the CD is narrated, and it's also, there's music, of course, because Salvador supplies the music, and it's just so beautiful to listen to. You have no idea. And I will be promoting it pretty soon, hopefully.
Wonderful.
If I get a chance before Christmas. But I have to, what I do properly. I don't do it in half measure. So I want to make sure that everything is done properly before I launch it. But also, I'm a great grandmother. Do you know I'm a great grandmother? I got a great grandchild of what is he? 10 weeks. 10 weeks old.
Wow! Congratulations. That is amazing.
Well, that's a great achievement. Let's face it. That's my child of the child of my child.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way, But yeah.
And you're still getting out there and still putting all this incredible things out into the world.
Yes. Well, I hope my followers enjoy what I do, and I know they do because. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now. What was that I was going to say? I've forgotten. One of my followers said yesterday in regard to the story about me being a mechanic. She said, my God, Liv, how many other things have you got hidden inside of you that you haven't told us about it? Keep going, keep going. Because I post something and within 2 minutes, there's hits on there all the time. Our videos, Glenn and my videos, little videos that we do at home, as you know, is muck around a lot. I'll get as many as 25,000 views on it.
Wow.
But I mean, that's not bad for, someone that we're not out to, conquer the world. We just want to make people feel good. If you feel good by people posts, great.
Yeah. And I think people pick up on that too. They pick up on the energy that you put out there. So what are some tips that you would give somebody that's looking at what you're doing? And obviously they can't use age as an excuse because there is no excuse. But
that's it. You've said it. Do not use your age as an excuse. Yeah. Okay, that's beautiful, what you've just said. Have lots of confidence in yourself. You're the only one who can do it. Let's face it. Whatever you want to do, you should be able to do. I know that sometimes health comes into it, but you know what? Even that has not stopped me. Just so that you know, I've been a cancer sufferer 3 times in my life. Cancer has tried 3 times with me. Oh yeah. And I've cheated it every time. And without chemo, without anything. I've always said, okay, there's a problem. Let's take care of it. And we go on with life.
Wow.
So anyone that is not knowing what to do with their lives, how are they going to turn themselves around? It's only a matter of being positive and believe in yourself. I know everyone says that. I know you'll hear it from every second person. Believe in yourself. And that's exactly what it is. There's no secrets. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to enjoy what you're doing. You don't have to be rich. Lovely to be rich, but not everyone is. I'm not. I'm definitely not rich. And if anyone thinks that because I published a book that I made millions, no, I haven't. but it's lovely. And it's also to know that you've achieved what you wanted to do. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think an important point too is, like you said, if there's something that you don't know,
you ask the expert.
Yeah.
That's it. That's exactly right. You ask the expert. I know I see what you do, and I see what some of the other girls do, and I do so much agree with what you said at the beginning of this interview. You get the wannabes that are promising the earth when you cannot. Not everyone can own the earth, okay? And they make such big promises, and then they let people down. And I've seen it happen, not to me, because I can smell a rat a mile away. My experience has taught me a lot. But it's a shame. There's a lot of there that are giving false hope. All you had to remember, what I want to tell all my friends is, look, can I say it to my people, the people that are listening, can I say it with a poem?
Sure. Yeah. That would be lovely.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to read you this poem, which I've called The Stage of Life. Okay? The Stage of Life. Don't fear, my friend, when you're on the stage of life. Firm belief you do have. So make your words come alive. Don't fret, my friend. Sadness, it's not your fashion. A smile is all you need to spread your compassion. When you feel challenged and fear is what you feel, your strength do show to make it all reveal. A moment in time on the stage of life. It's all that it takes to wrap yourself with pride. The stage is yours. So play your part well and just believe. Conviction in what you say. It's all you need. Okay.
That was beautiful.
We're all on the stage of life.
Yeah.
And we all have to play our part. As long as we play our part well, we'll be right.
And that self-belief and that conviction that you can do it.
Yes.
Yeah. That is wonderful. So if people want to connect with you, it's liviayork.author.
Yes. Look, I have 3 pages, actually. I have Livia York Private, and then I have Livia York Author and Livia York, the Poetic Phoenix one. But also, of course, I do have a website. If people want to know more about me, all they have to do is go into my website, which is strictly www.liviayork.com. That's it. And there are interviews, there are photos, there are all sorts of things there.
And your book.
And my book. Yes, my book. By the way, okay, did you see that building? That's the building. Oops, that was demolished. You would not believe it, but the wonders of the internet.
Okay. And you found it, and that's the one your mother pulled you out of.
5 years ago, when I was writing this, and I started doing some research, and that is the building that was in the street where we lived. So I will take it that it was the building I was in, because it was the building was a 5-story building, and it's on the internet. This is a picture that I've taken from the internet, right? But it's in the street in the suburb where we lived. So I've adopted that as the one. But
that is amazing.
Yeah, it's but as I said, the wonders of doing research, the wonders of internet, the wonders of everything. And
being able to type with one finger, there is no excuse for not getting out there and putting anything online, because you can still type.
Yeah, well, you see, it's quite strange, because if you can see now, my finger is going crooked. Because I said, that's how we do it. I could put my finger like that, like that, and I just tap one finger at a time.
Perfect.
If there's a will, there's a way.
There is, definitely. That's correct, yeah. So, well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today, Olivia. I really appreciate it. And your story is just incredible. It's really amazing. So,
thank you for the opportunity. I may not be able to teach anything, but I can give inspiration. That's what I'm aiming at doing. And I hope people will be inspired by what I say, because if they are inspired, then they'll do things their own way, and then it becomes their doing.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
Thank you, Leanne.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Ciao.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. As you can see, Livia she's just amazing. And let's be honest, there really is no excuse for anybody not to show up online and not to at least have a go and have a try and put yourself out there. And as Livia said, the biggest thing really is fear. And there really is nothing to be afraid of. So if you are enjoying these weekly interviews, please put a comment below. Share some of the tips that you've taken away and some of the things that you've enjoyed. And I will see you again next week at 10:30 with another great interview. Thanks, guys.